in Ulaanbaatar, the capital city of the magnificent Mongolia. And today we have the honor of having with us Galsandorj Damba, who was the trade representative of Mongolia in the United Kingdom. He is also an expert on international trade. Welcome to Reason, the New Indians platform, where we get to the reason behind the issues that concern you. Welcome, Galsandorj Damba.
Thank you very much for inviting me to interview.
Let me begin this conversation with your experience as a former diplomat. Tell me, what is Mongolia's place in the world? How do you see Mongolia in the world?
Mongolia has become an independent state in 1921. Quite recently, 2 years ago, Mongolia celebrated 100 years of the independent state. And you mentioned, how is Mongolia placed in the world? Yeah. Geographically, Mongolia is a landlocked country. Mongolia borders with Russia and China. We have two big neighbors.
Yes.
Therefore, Mongolian government is implementing policy, very peaceful, very open trade policy. And those two neighbors are, due to close location, due to old cooperation and economic relations and on trade. And so as to you, if you ask how is Mongolian economic cooperation and international trade was...
I will come to that question later. My question is that Mongolia has a very rich history, it has a rich heritage, and Mongolia, as you rightly pointed out, is a landlocked country surrounded by two major nuclear powers, two biggest superpowers in the world. So how does Mongolia, a small country sandwiched between two big countries, how does it see itself in the world?
Yes. As I mentioned, when Mongolia got the independent state, since 1921 to 1990, Mongolia very closely cooperated with Russia and China, of course. That time, Mongolia has one ruling party, Mongolian People's Party.
Yes.
The party policy adopted to cooperate with those neighbors on the very friendly, peaceful basis. And also, when Mongolia switched to free market economy and Mongolian people chosen democratic revolution and supported democratic revolution in 1990. And during that time, Mongolia switched to free market economy. Therefore,
let me put this question a little in a different way. Mongolia, it's only in the last 10 years, Mongolia is seen as an emerging market. It's seen as a country which has potential to grow and potential to contribute to the world. Earlier, it was different. Before, as you rightly pointed out, before democracy happened in Mongolia. Tell me that with peace cooperation between China and Russia at the moment, what exactly is Mongolia's strength in terms of international trade?
So, Mongolia is rich in different minerals. And for the last, I mentioned 100 years of the independence, and Mongolia got a lot of soft loans from Russia and East European countries, from China, and tried to develop mineral sector. So a lot of geological exploration was done on the Mongolian territory, and Mongolian geologists jointly with Russian, East European geologists discovered big resources of copper, coal, fluorspar, gold, and other minerals. And for the last 100 years, we developed light industry, agriculture, mining sector. Mining sector is Mongolia is very important. Therefore, now Mongolia switching to free market economy. Mongolia cooperated with international organizations such as World Bank, International Monetary Fund, Asian Development Bank, European banks, and donor countries such as Japan and Germany, UK, USA, and other countries helped Mongolia to develop mineral sector and light industry, agriculture, energy sectors.
Who is the biggest trading partner of Mongolia?
Of course, until 1990, Russia was Mongolian major trading partner. And as you see, Mongolian trade destination, 97% of Mongolian trade was with Russia, East European countries. Only 3% trade with China and other so-called Western countries. Mm-hmm. Right now, trade structure has completely changed. Now, China...
It has changed in the last 30 years.
Yes, last 30 years. And due to very high demand on minerals in agriculture, raw materials in China, and China is very close to Mongolia, and freight cost is very cheap, and therefore Mongolian foreign trade structure has changed. Right now, I would say majority of trade with China.
So China is the biggest trading partner.
Yeah, biggest trade. 82% of Mongolia export go to China. And China also contributes 1/3 of Mongolian import, you know. And Russia is still a very major trading partner in terms of import. Mm-hmm. You know, Mongolia importing crude oil and petroleum from Russia 100%.
100%.
100%, and
so this import of crude oil and gas from Russia did not stop during the Ukraine war.
No, because Russian refineries are in Siberia and in the eastern part of Russia, Russian Federation. Of course, Mongolian government and Mongolian importers have signed 3-year and 5-year contracts. Mm-hmm. For non-stop supply to Mongolia. Of course, you know, Mongolia is a big country in the terms of territory, but a very small country, 3 million people. Mongolian consumption is very small compared with other countries' consumption, of course.
Yes, energy consumption.
Yes, yes. Only $1-2 billion import.
So you're saying that Mongolia is fundamentally dependent on Russia for energy?
Yes. Not only on petroleum products and also on energy supply. You know, we are, and I mentioned with the assistance of Russian Federation, they have been built many power stations. Mm-hmm. On coal-firing power stations, which power stations are still operating and which are needed for renovation. And we are receiving assistance from Russia, from Japan, and other countries. And 20% of Mongolian energy consumption from Russia.
Okay.
Still.
Okay.
One thing I really would like to point out, and one important strategic project, crude oil processing plant is built with the technical assistance of Indian government. It's a big project, strategic project, which will help Mongolia to reduce
Dependence on Russia.
Oil product dependence on Russia.
Okay. I would also like to know, are there any other possibilities or opportunities that Mongolia is exploring in wind energy, renewables?
Yes, of course. And besides this important project development, it's underway. It will take time, and due to COVID 2019 pandemic, this construction is delayed a little bit, but this summer we'll start construction again. And of course, other countries, and worldwide, and coal firing power stations are restricted.
Yes.
And due to
Pollution.
global
Warming,
climate change, and pollution, you see a big pollution in UP.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
And even 33 million people, and how many youths firing coal.
Yes.
And therefore, international organizations such as European Bank of Reconstruction and Development and Asian Development Bank, and some donor countries such as USA and Canada, Australia, and Germany are willing to build wind energy, wind generators, and solar generators, and some scale energy projects have been built and operate now. And Mongolian Ministry of Energy is willing to increase this wind generator, solar generators supply as much as possible. Right now, a small percentage of the energy balance, would say nearly 5%.
And what is Mongolia's dependence on China? How is Mongolia dependent on China?
Yes. Yeah, I really would like to point out Mongolia dependent on China economically. China is one of the important investor. There are a number of projects have been invested and operating, such as zinc concentrate producing plant in Sukhvata province in east of Mongolia, and also in the north we have crude oil processing plant, crude oil mining plant. And our central bank and other commercial bank received a lot of loans,
Okay.
of course, from China.
Loans from China.
And Mongolian central bank and the Russian some commercial banks swap transaction. It's very heavily dependent. And also Chinese companies are investing in different sectors, in mining and in agriculture, in energy, many sectors.
But Mongolia primarily remains an agrarian society, does it, or mining has become a big industry in Mongolia? Which is the biggest sector in terms of
course, mining is the biggest sector of Mongolia, which generates nearly 20% of Mongolian GDP, over 20%, and nearly 60% of Mongolian industrial production, and 92% of Mongolian trade export. Therefore, of course, money is a very important sector, and for the last few years, you had a big copper and gold mine in Gobi Desert, which was funded by Canadian and British.
Canadian and British investment to mining.
Yes, mining, and which is big investment, and this mining project started from 2012, and open pit copper gold mining mine and processing plant commissioned in 2013. This Ayutthaya company has been operating for 10 years, which contributed to the government budget, taxes, and also this company is one of the biggest employees.
Let me ask you a geopolitical question. Many believe that when Russia went for a military operation in Ukraine and it turned out to be a big war, which continues till today, many believe that Russia's aggression is not good. Many also think that it has encouraged China, and probably China will take Taiwan. With two big neighbors who are right now militarily into a confrontation, China is into a confrontation with the United States of America, does Mongolia feel secure with these two neighbors?
No, of course, Mongolia is a very secure country, and in my opinion, I mentioned Mongolia landlocked country. Mongolia borders was, you quietly mentioned, with those super neighbors, nuclear neighbors.
Yes.
But those two countries is major countries in terms of economy, in terms of international trade, and of course, I can say Mongolia is a very secure country. Even we have a very small number of soldiers, army.
Yes.
And so we are not, we invest in different sectors. I don't know. And are we investing in defense? There is no need.
There's no need.
No need. Mongolia is very, we already joined, got the status non-nuclear country.
Yeah.
And Mongolia is developing country, and Mongolia is also democratic country, and Mongolia is also adopting and implementing state neighbor policy, and Mongolia has already signed strategic partnership agreements with Japan, with Russia, and China, with India,
yes,
and other countries, of course. Therefore, would say this you mentioned the war between Russia and Ukraine. It's far away from Mongolia. How many thousand kilometers?
yes.
And if you have a train from Yubi City to Moscow, it takes 5 days.
Yeah.
5 days. Yeah, amazing.
So let me come to India-Mongolia relations. Even though India and Mongolia do not share a border, we are pretty far from each other. But what we generally see is that Mongolia and India share a very good partnership. Why is that?
Yeah, so Mongolian people do respect India, and historically we have very close relations. even from 30th century, I would say. And Mongolian-Indian cultural cooperation is very close. And India is supporting Buddhism, and Mongolia, Buddhist majority of Mongolian people, especially elder people, are Buddhists. Yeah, and due to our cultural and historical relations, and Genghis Khan ancestors settled in Persia and even in India, and they also, so was Genghis Khan ancestors helped to develop not only Russia, Central Asia states, and also other countries close India. Yeah, and
So since independence, how has India-Mongolia relationship evolved?
Since independence, since 1991, Mongolian-India relations expanded, and two governments have signed bilateral agreements on economy, on different sectors, and exchanging people, scholars, and scientists. And we don't know, India has been developing electronics worldwide, competing with big countries such as USA, other countries. And also Mongolian plane flies to India, and it's a very regular connection, which are helped us, and we are very pleased. The Indian government is helping, choosing very strategic, very right, very important project. Crude oil purchasing project is very important.
So how big is that project, and what amount of energy will be generated through that project?
Yes, this project is a big project in terms of investment. It's a $1.2 billion project. Of course, it's a big project, and I quietly mentioned Ayutthaya copper gold mining project, including open pit mine and deep mine. Australia and UK, Canada has been invested for the last 10 years, $18 billion. $18 billion. It's a very big project.
Yes.
And Canadian and British company arranged $4.3 billion, wasting 15 banks loans to Mongolia. And of course, this Indian project is a very different project, and Indian government and supported very respected, well-known Prime Minister Modi,
Yes.
who visited Mongolia,
Mm-hmm.
and this concluded this important agreement. And if this project has been implemented, this project in operation, will produce 1.5 million tons of crude oil,
1.5 million
and
tons.
which will supply 2/3 of Mongolian petroleum consumption.
Okay.
2/3.
2/3.
2/3.
That's a lot.
Which is nearly 20% of Mongolian import.
Okay, 20% of Mongolian
On import substitution.
Okay, that's big.
Yes, therefore this is very important strategic project.
That is indeed.
I was quite surprised at how Indian people, Indian engineers and government ministry have chosen this project.
So you are glad.
Yeah, we are very happy.
You're happy. Well, I'm sure Prime Minister Modi's vision about the world, especially with his look east policy, I think this certainly will deliver in terms of world peace and probably a better and a more prosperous Mongolia. But let me come to the last question. Mongolia has a very good relationship with both Russia and China. But if you look at the world today, the United States of America is almost anti-China. China is also angry with the US. There is a Cold War kind of a situation between these two big powers. What do you think Mongolia's role can be, or how do you think Mongolia can navigate in this situation, whereas Mongolia perhaps has a very good relationship with the United States of America also?
Yes. And also, as I mentioned to you, Mongolia is implementing Safe Neighbor policy, and USA is one of the important Mongolian trading partner, and not only trading partner, big investor. And also USA government arranging Millennium Challenge Compact funding, which is a big project, $350 million, which will assist in building a water supply project. It's underway. And American companies for the last 30 years and invested in different sectors, in petroleum sector and gold mining sector and other sectors, agriculture. And USAID, this international organization, is very active in Mongolia, which is arranging finance for developing smaller scale plants in different sectors, especially in agriculture and light industry, purchasing raw materials such as wool, cashmere, and others.
Okay, so with such a good partnership that Mongolia has with the US, how is Mongolia going to navigate? Because US-China confrontation seems to get, to accelerate, and US-Russia confrontation has also accelerated because of the Ukraine war. Do you think there will be pressures and pulls from the US, from perhaps the NATO countries on Mongolia?
No. As I mentioned to you, Mongolia also one of the member non-nuclear status countries, and Mongolia is implementing very open, peaceful policy, and we do wish the Russian-Ukrainian war would be ended as soon as possible. And of course, as you know, and Mongolia has also very friendly relations with EU countries. And therefore, small country, Mongolia is developing country, small countries' headache should be, Mongolia should concentrate on our own problems.
Yes.
Yeah, even Mongolia is having big difficulties, and Mongolian foreign debt reaching to over $30 billion, which is nearly 60% of Mongolian GDP.
That's huge.
We have big problem. If country like Mongolia having problems, local problems, tackling, dealing, and so, we should survive.
So tell us, what are the major challenges Mongolia is facing?
Major challenges: unemployment, low salary, and shortage of houses.
Shortage
pollu-
of houses.
pollution, this pollution, and there might be water supply problem in the capital city. You know, in UP, you traveled
Traffic is a major.
yesterday you have seen.
Traffic is a
Yeah.
major problem in Ulaanbaatar.
Yeah, major problem.
Yes, there are no
Too
flyovers.
many cheap cars. I really would like to point out, Mongolia signed a free trade agreement with Japan.
Yes.
Japan is Mongolian major donors, one of the major donors.
So you think
And
Mongolia and Japan should
yeah.
have free trade agreement?
Already concluded.
Okay.
And I really would like to point out the result of this agreement. You know, right now, Mongolian import from Japan, nearly $500 million. And Mongolia export to Japan right now, if I check the Mongolia export statistic 2021, it's only $17 million, you know.
Okay.
520, how many times? We should
Major deficit.
measure the trade deficit. And so Japan has very strict sanitary requirements on some raw materials such as wool and cashmere.
Okay.
So therefore,
And Mongolia is the biggest
exporter,
cashmere.
cashmere exporter, but Mongolian cashmere quality in semi-finished products do not meet Japanese requirements.
Oh.
Very tough requirement.
Their standard is very high.
Very high. Therefore, it's needed some work between Mongolian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who is in charge for Mongolian foreign trade, to deal with the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Trade, how to settle this issue. And it's a good idea to get some funding to help Mongolian exporters, producers, how to evaluate, how to modernize existing light industry operations.
Well, this has been a very enlightening conversation. Thank you for your time today and for educating us about Mongolia.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.